Every one of these people made one tiny mistake, and almost died because of it. One wrong decision, 1 second later, everything changed forever. These real emergencies became more terrifying than any horror movie. These accidents will make you rethink everyday choices forever. The next few minutes show how close ordinary people came to dying. Never go under a big truck unless you have to, or you might regret it bad. Archie was changing a flat tire when a lug nut got stuck in his wrench. He yanked it hard. Pop, one nut rolled under a semi-truck. Worse, he didn't tell the truck driver, just crawled straight under the massive rig. The missing nut was lodged right between the dual tires. He stretched his arms, straining to reach it. Then the nightmare began. The trucker was about to start the engine. Archie, clueless, kept squeezing deeper between the tires. The engine roared to life. Luckily, a loader spotted him. He screamed at the driver. Archie let out a blood-curdling shriek. The driver instantly dialed 911. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but here's the shocker. Archie wasn't hurt at all. They pumped up airbags under the truck, lifting the trailer inch by inch. One shoulder finally free. Then a jack raised the tire. Firefighters swiftly removed the nuts and pulled the wheel off. Archie was saved. And get this, they even found his missing lug nut. Wonder if he'll ever dare use it again. A tree branch ran straight through Harley's chest. The doctors gasped when they saw it. He had been lost control, hit a car, and crashed onto a pile of trimmed branches. Just as the doctors were about to start treatment, Harley's father, Hernandez, rushed in. He ignored his son's wounds and called him stupid, shouting that only an idiot could smash into a tree. In turn, Alex couldn't take it. He slammed Hernandez against the wall. Hernandez hit hard and walked away with a bloody nose. Doctor Bailey stormed over and yelled at Alex for crossing the line. She said the father was just terrified and that fear was no excuse for Alex to use force. The doctors quickly operated on Harley because the branch was buried deep. They worked with delicate, steady hands. Once they stabilized every organ, they fired up a surgical saw and freed the thick limb from his body. But before they could breathe, Harley's blood pressure crashed. His renal artery had blown open. The surgeons fought the hemorrhage with everything they had. At last, they stopped the bleeding and saved his life. Later, Bailey met Hernandez in the Archie was tidying up his bed frame when he noticed the sheet was stuck on the support. He yanked hard to free the fabric, but accidentally pulled the whole support off. The bedboard fell and trapped him underneath. Archie called out, but nobody answered. Left with no choice, he waited. Fortunately, it wasn't long before voices came from outside. It was Archie's cousin and his girlfriend Vicky returning. He was about to shout for help when he suddenly stopped. Something felt off because right then Vicky was on the bed cheating on him. Luckily, he wore his smartwatch. The physical pressure spiked, his blood pressure automatically dialing 911. The arriving firefighters didn't hesitate, bursting in with their battering ram. Romantic music was playing inside. The captain turned off the stereo. The crew stood confused. This didn't look like a 911 emergency. Then came cries from under the bed. Firefighters lifted the mattress, revealing poor trapped Archie. They quickly freed him from the wreckage. As for that complicated relationship, well, that was the couple's business to figure out. Sean was supposed to be discharged today, but he sneaked a cigarette in his room. A split second later, the room flashed and burned. The doctors reached him fast, yet his face was badly scorched. Everyone was shocked he smoked while on oxygen. Sean's wife begged the doctors to save his looks. He earned a living with his face. As a salesman, he needed to meet clients. Plastic surgeon Mark pushed for immediate surgery. Because every minute raised the risk of infection, attending surgeon Derek wanted to wait 2 days. Since Sean had just survived a previous operation, the two doctors argued in the room. Sean and his wife froze, afraid he might die. After a quick huddle, they chose to observe him overnight and operate the next morning. The surgery went smoothly, but Sean's face could never look exactly the same. Scars would always remain. His wife felt crushed. Dr. Bailey comforted them both. She said his face might look different, yet what truly mattered were the people he loved and the ones who loved him. Emily went because she was heartbroken. Her husband, Eric, wanted a divorce. To cheer her up, her best friend, Denise, brought her there to blow off some steam. At first, Emily wasn't into the idea, but then Denise said, "Just imagine you're smashing your husband instead." That got Emily's attention. She agreed right away. They suited up in full protective gear and got ready to unleash their emotions. Denise went first to show her how it's done. Then she handed the bat to Emily. Emily tried, but it didn't seem to help much. Denise told her to swing harder, to find the root of her anger and let it all out. Like this, she said. Emily gave it another shot, and this time it felt much better. Denise encouraged her to think about all the bad memories with Eric, and it worked. Emily really got into it. But then something happened. Denise accidentally let slip a secret. Something only Emily and Eric should have known. Emily froze. That made her suspicious. When Denise couldn't explain herself, Emily realized the truth. Denise was the other woman. That was the final straw. Emily snapped, seeing the fury in her eyes. Denise panicked. She dove into a metal barrel and hid. Then she called 911 in a panic. Firefighters showed up fast. Sergeant Grant told the captain that Denise was trapped inside the barrel. Emily had dented it so badly they needed to cut it open. Once they freed Denise, Janelle was biking when the ground suddenly started shaking. Curious, she looked back only to see a massive flood roaring toward her like a wild beast. She quickly pedaled to escape, but how could a bike out a flood? Eventually, the rushing water swallowed her whole. Luckily, she survived, but she ended up trapped in a dark drainage tunnel. Her ribs and ankle were both broken. She quickly called 911. Dispatcher Maddie asked where she was. Chanel said she wasn't sure, but there was an SW sign on the wall. Maddie guessed she might be stuck inside a storm water overflow tunnel. Maddie then asked if there was an electrical box nearby. Janelle looked up and saw one right next to her. Maddie told her to press the button inside. That way, they could find her location. Janelle crawled toward the box despite her injuries, but it had a heavy lock on it that hit her with a wave of despair. Then she remembered she had a repair tool with her. She pulled it out and started smashing the lock, but her body was too weak. She just couldn't break it open. Feeling hopeless, Janelle burst into tears. As they talked, Maddie learned more about her. Janelle had just gotten married 6 months ago. Then the pandemic hit. They were stuck at home together. Her husband loved mountain biking. But one day, he came back and collapsed in front of her. The virus had taken his life. Since then, Janelle had lived in grief. Now that things were better, she decided to ride her husband's bike. To feel his warmth one last time, but then the dam broke and the flash flood dragged her into this nightmare. Maddie truly understood her pain. She gently encouraged Janelle to stay strong because her husband wouldn't want to see her like this. Those words gave Janelle strength. She grabbed the tool and smashed the lock with everything she had, as if releasing months of pain, loss and love. She finally opened the box and pressed the button. The flood system lit up with her location. Soon after, firefighters used the signal to find her and brought her to safety. It was -4 degrees Fahrenheit, but Gordon could only wrap himself in a plastic bag for warmth. Eventually, he couldn't take it anymore and passed out from the cold. Turns out just moments earlier, an accident had caused a citywide blackout. Gordon, who was about to leave work, got trapped in the walk-in freezer. He quickly dialed 911, but dispatcher Maddie said firefighters would take at least a few hours to arrive. She told him to find a way to survive. Most freezers had an electronic emergency release, which should still work even during a power outage. Problem: the switch was frozen solid, covered in a thick layer of ice. Gordon tried smashing it with frozen beef, but nothing worked. Now, even Maddie was out of ideas. She told him to stay calm and find anything unfrozen to keep warm, but the freezer only had rock-hard meat in one plastic bag, which did nothing against the cold. Soon, Gordon collapsed from hypothermia, unresponsive to Maddie's desperate calls. Hours later, firefighters finally arrived. They rushed to cut through the steel door with a saw, but disaster struck.